and I wanted to be an editor. So I looked around Santa Barbara. KUIT didn't have intern positions up on the hill, but Cox Cable out in Goleta happened to have this company called Quantum Video. So Quantum Video was like this offshoot of Cox Cable, and the job of Quantum Video was to be like a tier 1 broadcast quality post-production facility. And they did McDonald's commercials west of the Mississippi, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Nexus hair products. They were doing like real serious stuff. And it wasn't like public access. This was like, for-profit, $500 an hour to be in an editing bay with an editor. And I thought, oh my God, I have to go out there. It was like, I think it was the summer when I was 17. I'm like, this is where I have to go. So I drive I have my VW Bug, and I drive with 4-cylinder engine, and I drive it out to this place. I park it down the street, and I walk in the door, and I wait forever, in some seat with like magazines for a year old. And then the manager comes up to me and he says, come back and let's talk. The GM. He sits me down in his cubicle and he's like, what can I do for you? And I said, well, I want to be an intern. And I made it really clear. I was like, I want to be an intern and I'll work for free. He's like, of course you will. Why is it even coming up in the conversation? And I thought that was like going to be the edge, like I'll be the guy that's an intern that doesn't get paid. And so he says, look at this list. He says, you'll work for me for free after these 24 other people work for me this summer or don't show up for their job. There's 24 other people. 24 people. I was like, there's no way, right? So I was like really dejected. So I put my name on the list and then I left. I walked out the door. It was a sunny afternoon, like it was today. It was in the summertime, and in the summer when it's hot and no rain, people don't wash their car. They get the dust and stuff. The cars get dirty. And I looked at the parking lot in front of this low-slung building, this editing facility that I was dreaming of working inside of, and all the cars were dirty. And I said to myself, I'm going to wash all of these cars. And I walked back into the GM and I said, can I wash all the cars? And he looked at me like I was crazy. And I didn't say for free, but I said, can I wash all the cars? And he looked at me, he's like, sure. He was kind of a little bit of a sadist. And he said, sure. And I guess I was a little bit of a masochist. That's Hollywood. Sadists and masochists get together. So I got a bucket and some soap, I was out there with Dawn, and the whole thing, and I washed all these cars. It took me like hours. I washed all the cars. I come back in, and it's like nighttime. It's dark. And I say to somebody else, it wasn't the GM, I said, hey, do you have a squeegee? And then, what do you need a squeegee for? Well, I'm going to wash your windows. And they're like, oh, it's in the, they're busy, right? They're trying to do their job. It's back in the kitchen, the break room. So I go get a squeegee, some more soap and Dawn, or whatever. I get out front, and I'm washing the outside of the windows, all the front, these big plate glass windows. So I finish all of that, and then I walk back inside, and it's even later, and there's less people there, and there's this huge guy who's like 6'8", and he's like this functioning alcoholic. And I knew that later when he used to send me underage to the liquor store. By the way, this place is over by McDonald's and Taco Bell. He'd send me to that little liquor store that's right on that little side street to go get him 40-ounce Mickeys while he was editing. And he comes like lumbering down, and he's drunk, right? He's wasted, and he's got sunglasses on inside of a dark room. He's like, comes out, he's like, oh, and he's like, what are you doing, little man? And I'm the little man, I'm like 6'2" or 6'3", whatever. And I'm like, of course, I'm like in awe of this guy, because I've heard of him, people have told me about this guy. Great guy, by the way. He went on to do IMAX movies. Anyway, I got the squeegee. I got the squeegee, and he's like, "What are you doing with the squeegee?" And he's yelling and everything, and he's like drooling and stuff. He has a big beard, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm washing the windows." He's, "Oh yeah, the fucking windows, dirty fucking windows." And I'm like, and he's like, and he goes in the machine room. He goes in the machine room, which is like for me is like the center of the universe. Like that's where all the action is, all these like millions of dollars of equipment. He goes in the machine room. I follow him in there, and he's like, "Yeah," he's going on about the windows. There's the window. The window that I was washing from the outside, there it is, like in the machine room. And it's got that tint on it, like you tint your car, for the sun. And I just walked over and started washing the windows. And it was at that moment that I was on the inside working as an unpaid intern for Quantum Video. And I just kept washing and cleaning for like 2 weeks. And they had cleaners. They came in at night, like vacuum, vacuum stuff. And I'm running around with like mops and stuff. And I was like pretending to clean stuff, because I would clean everything and then I'd pretend to clean it because I just wanted to stay there and I wanted to learn and hear and overhear and see clients and how it all worked. And because he was lit, The guy didn't know. He didn't know that I wasn't supposed to be there, and he didn't even know that he thought maybe I was like an editor. So he would like invite me in after a while to like sit in on his sessions. Like, yeah, little man, sit over there on the couch, you know. And he'd have his 40-ounce Mickey between, you know, in the chair, and he's like huddling and drinking. These ad agency executives are sitting behind him, like, okay, you know, we gotta, you know, cut from the Big Mac to the Happy Meal, or whatever. And anyway, I was in. I brought him some of my pumpkin movie action that he could take a look at, and he took an interest in me, and we got along really well. I think it's because I enabled his alcoholism, doing those runs for the liquor store. And next thing I know, I'm his assistant editor. You know, this is after about maybe 6-7 months. I was doing offline editing for him, you know, getting all the prep work done, the time code reader on there for him to bring it into the machine. I learned how to lick this index finger and load a 1-inch videotape reel-to-reel machine through this system, you know, like the old film projectors. I learned a lot. And I also made friends with the engineer that was there during the daytime, a guy named Steve Sagety, who just taught me so much about television. And that's how I became a television editor.